So, Brooksy, first and foremost, my friend, congratulations on your new contract. 4 years.
It. Thank you.
4 years takes you to 2029.
Yeah, ripe old age of 32. Nice,
Time flies, my friend? So we're here today, we're going to look through your years with Bournemouth. You're into your 8th season now. And to say you've been through the ups and downs is probably, a big understatement for anyone I've ever been around in the 33 years I've been at this club. So we're going to look through some of your clips when you first arrived, so you meet some of your goals, your great moments. It starts back in 2018.
Yeah.
Here you are, looking about 15 years of age. As much as I was in the management game then with Eddie Howe, and I saw your clip against Sheffield Wednesday where you spun 160 and nutmegged the lad on the halfway line. Fans went crazy in the Sheffield derby, and I was like, oh, this kid's special. You just nutmegged him on the halfway line and you went through. And
yeah, it got me my move, so I'm buzzing with it really.
Well, it made me say a definite yes to Eddie Howe, I know that for sure. And
yeah, but it's just even around that time, obviously just playing for Sheffield United, like you're just excited for everything, and the opportunities that are coming up are all new and stuff like that. And like you touched on, coming down to Bournemouth, like as a club, obviously you know a little bit about them, but I didn't even know where Bournemouth was on a map. If you'd have asked me
I was the same.
prior to that.
A lot of years before you though. I was the same, where's Bournemouth?
With Bournemouth, like becoming interested, obviously you start doing your research, and obviously it's a lovely part of the world, and I'm glad like I chose this as a place to live, never mind play football as well. So yeah, obviously really thankful that the opportunities kind of came around when they did.
How did you find it? Because you're around some decent players, you got Callum Wilson, you got Josh King, you got some big hitters. Was Nathan Ake here then?
Yeah, no, he was here. I think the main thing was the training. I can't remember it like this, but I think if I was to look back on training sessions and stuff like that, I probably looked like a championship player at that point. And that pre-season, I remember having a few games and stuff like that, and I felt I did all right. But I think the game just before this, I think we played Marseille or something like that.
We won 5-0, 5-1.
Yeah, I think we had a really good game, but I was in that 11 that did well on that game day, which I think helped my case to try and get in for the game week 1, obviously against Cardiff.
Well, let me tell you a little secret, because I was in the room, obviously being part of the management, and Eddie said that team that beat Marseille, he said, I think I'm going to play the whole lot. You played that well in that game. I don't know if you can remember it. You were outstanding. The team was outstanding. We won, like I say, it was either 5-0 or 5-1. And Eddie literally said in the room afterwards, I'm going to play the same team next week against Cardiff. And I think 9 of those 11 did start.
As soon as I got the nod, obviously, you are a little bit nervous making your Premier League debut and stuff like that. But I felt like I was just kind of playing my own natural game.
You look like you've been playing, as we see you dribbling the ball now, it looked like you've been playing for years with the team. I think you just fitted in the way Eddie liked to play. He wanted his wide players to drift inside. You naturally did it. I remember him saying, I don't really have to say much to Brooksy. He just gets it. But we got the 3 points against Cardiff.
Yeah.
We move on a month or two. This is your first goal.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't come much better than that. Oh, it's a dream, no?
0-0 Bournemouth Palace. Smith's ball into the penalty area. Picked up by Wilson. Square to Brooks. Left foot in! And David Brooks with his first Premier League goal. And it's an absolute peach.
Obviously, your first Premier goal is one that you're always going to look back on, and I don't really get tired of looking at that, to be fair. Especially when it's off the bar and stuff like that. It just makes it...
It just looks better, doesn't it? It bounces in, hits the roof of the net. I haven't seen a cultured finish like that from a young lad, probably since I've been here at Bournemouth in all these years. Not only to score the goal, but obviously get Player of the Month within the first 3 months of the season.
To be fair, it wasn't even... I know, obviously, you say I got the award. I don't really remember the award. I just remember kind of like the love that I was getting from the fans, and even like my family, because they obviously come to every single game. It just all felt good and kind of right.
Well, I think you were a breath of fresh air. Our fans were waiting for a new fan's favourite, a new hero to come along, a young lad. You were something different, and the plaudits that the fans give you, was so deserved. We see this Brighton game. I think this is the game that really cemented David Brooks as a top Premier League player.
Here's David Brooks, nicely fed by Joshua King now. Brooks onto his left foot, opportunity to shoot still. Brooks shoots! There it is from David Brooks!
That's a great strike, but for someone who made a career out of heading the ball, this next one for me.
Newcastle tomorrow, here's Fraser, curled in now towards Brooks for a second! David Brooks at the double!
I mean, that's audacious.
Yeah. The amount of people that said I didn't mean that as well was crazy, really. But I don't obviously score many with my head, so...
There's been more aggressive, direct headers in the history of Bournemouth, right? But that one always gets mentioned, and I think it's because it's so different to anything we've seen. You just guided it with a little flick. It was almost so clever, it outdone anything I've ever seen. So, like I say, first great season, Brooksy. Second season, as they say, is always the hardest when you first gone to the Premier League. Not that I've ever had that experience. It was a little bit of stop-start for you. You got a big injury, and we're talking about the COVID season now, the 1920 season. How did you feel that started for you? You can see here, this is when they probably got the injury.
Yeah, I think it was a game at Brentford. I remember like just going to change direction on my run and stuff like that. And
I remember it.
Yeah, I just felt like obviously a massive kind of like snap in my ankle. I'd kind of missed 7 months of that season.
That's a huge chunk of a very important season, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
Which accumulated in us getting relegated. You came back, and I remember all of us breathing a sigh of relief. We're like, "Oh, Brooksy's back." So that's the missing, piece of the jigsaw for us.
I remember like when I came back, I did kind of feel that.
You feel pressure?
Yeah, a little bit of like expectation. There was just a bit of a different feel when I came back. I think just the team were a little bit nervous and kind of scared of the possibility in going down. I felt like the first couple of weeks I did play well, but we weren't picking up the results, and then obviously it starts to get a little bit more nervy as the season then progresses, because you've got less and less opportunities.
So much in every game. Every game's at a cup final to stay
100%.
in the Premier League, and obviously we went to Everton in the last game, won the game, but results didn't go our way, and we ended up, getting relegated by 1 point. So obviously our first year back in the Championship, Jason Tindall takes over. You had a great start. It didn't really happen for us. The heartache of the playoffs. Do you remember it, Brentford?
Yeah. No, I remember like all that time really, and I think we weren't playing great, but I feel like the quality that we had throughout the team was kind of pulling us through games. I think we were probably in the top 3 teams like in that season, and we should have gone up really, but like I said, we weren't playing fantastic football at that time, and I'd say especially the first semi-final, obviously we hit them on the counter, and it was a really good game. Obviously 1-0 take to theirs, and then as soon as we went 2-0, we felt like we had a real chance. And
sending off killed it for us.
Yeah,
a bit, didn't it?
Unfortunately for us, I think it was just meant to be for them. Like I felt like the whole game just kind of went their way.
The next season is obviously Scotty Parker comes in.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a massive year in the life of David Brooks. Started the first few games.
Yeah, I remember that summer being again like quite a weird one. I remember getting a phone call off Scott Parker, and just the way he spoke. I think if you ask anyone that was here with him, he was like so captivating, and that kind of what drew me to thinking, oh right, I want to stay, and I really want to play for him and do well. That pre-season, obviously, I was loving the way that we were playing, and how he was making me feel and be a part of the team and stuff like that. And yeah, I was obviously really looking forward to kind of getting that season underway.
But obviously, we're going to have to touch on it because it's a massive part not only of your football career, your path, but your life.
Yeah.
Because I remember a game, I think it was Peterborough away. It was a Tuesday night. We drew 0-0. I remember you saying to the boys afterwards, you felt like your head and body wanted to go towards the ball, but you couldn't physically move towards it. Looking back now,
yeah, you obviously know the reason
but
now.
at the time, and just so everybody knows, it was stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah. I remember like I'm never right at the front of the running, but I'm never at the back, kind of like lugging along and stuff like that.
In the middle of the group, yeah.
Favourite place to be in the running, but
I would have stand for that. I was the one at the back.
But I remember starting to lug behind even in pre-season. I felt like I didn't really know the reason why, but don't worry about it. Like you'll get fitter and stuff like that. And then the first couple of games of the season started playing well. I think it was like 1 or 2 months in. I remember Scott Parker pulling me in a meeting and kind of showing me, not even like Championship wingers, Premiership wingers running stats, and I was just way off them. Like, and I remember thinking in my head, like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know why I can't produce them numbers. I don't know why I can't do that running that you're asking me to do. For whatever reason, I just couldn't do it. Well, obviously now I know, but at that time, it was just like a mind block. I just didn't know why I couldn't do it. And then I remember getting dropped for one of the games. I think it was around like maybe September time. I remember getting dropped, and obviously the lads that don't start kind of went and played like a small-sided game. And I remember walking over and Junior Stanislas kind of coming over to me and saying, "Oh, I bet you're fuming that you're not starting tomorrow." I was just genuinely like, I honestly couldn't care. Like I was just at that point.
Did you feel like burnt out? Is it?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously I can't put.
It was like being burnt out. Because I remember going home from training, and I'd just sleep for like 4 or 5 hours. Like, and then you'd go to sleep at night as if you hadn't slept 4 or 5 hours in the day, and it just got to that point where At that point, I just thought I was done. Like, football-wise, it was just not interesting to me in the slightest. I was going there, I was just getting knackered, going home, sleeping. It was at that point where, like, I don't know why I'm not performing. I can't perform, so, like, I don't enjoy doing it at all.
But you've got to enjoy your football.
Yeah.
You know, we always say it's the most privileged job in the world because it's what we've always wanted to do as kids, but you have to enjoy it.
You're not going to do it to your best abilities at that point.
And you're not going to enjoy it. Mentally and physically, must have been an absolute drain for you because you come back, literally 18 months, you were out, and I think your first game back was for the under-21s, of which you scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, world's worst hat-trick.
I just remember you saying everyone expected you, once you'd gone into remission and once you'd got back training with a team, the fitness levels you had to get to is not what people understand, like Premier League fitness. When we talk about Premier League fitness, and I remember you saying you couldn't even get through the warm-up without feeling absolutely shattered.
I think just obviously put it in context, like, I think when I got diagnosed, I was like 68 kilograms, or probably even less than that, probably like low 60s, because of the weight loss and stuff. Obviously, I didn't do anything for 6 months. You kind of getting poisoned, essentially. And I think I came back at like 86 or something like that. So I'd put on like 20 kg of fat through the steroids and other treatments and stuff like that. So you're obviously carrying a lot more weight to begin with that you've got to lose, and you've lost all the muscle that you had previously. It was obviously a lot of things that people probably don't understand, but obviously I don't expect them to. But obviously when you say, oh, well, you got 6 months of treatment and then you're basically all right to play, but then it's 6 months of losing the weight, then 6 months of like conditioning again, and then it just creeps up to, like you say,
process. And by the way, you experienced this right in the top end of your career.
Oh, 100%.
You were like, what were you, 23, 24?
Yeah, I was probably around, I think it was about.
But you're playing the best football you've played, so important for the team, and bang, this hits you. This isn't just like an ACL injury, this is life or death.
Yeah, and I think like when you kind of put it like that, obviously when you are 24, I'd say you are still fearless at that point, and the whole journey of being in the Championship was one that was always to get back to the Premier League, and I always felt like my qualities were in the Premier League, but you don't know then at that point whether you're going to get that opportunity again, which is obviously kind of a tough one to take. Not that I cared too much at the time, because obviously the first and main thing is obviously just your health, but yeah, it is a bit of a weird thought process of your whole life being about one thing, and then this is pretty much
football. I mean, to
yeah.
us fans, friends of yours, we didn't think about David Brooks the footballer. We thought of David Brooks the person and the family and
no. And to be honest, I did
listen,
feel
even
that.
just to see you put a pair of football boots on, regardless if you'd have played one more professional game or not, to us was just the most important thing. That meant you were still around, you're still here, and you know. Yeah, it's an emotional thing to speak about because you don't see what we go through, which is watching you for 18 months and in your progression, and you're not a type of lad who does speak openly. Probably spoke to you more now than I have done in the previous 7 years, but yeah, to go through that, mate, I mean, it's just miraculous, and it's amazing because our fans and fans throughout the country backed you, and we were applauding in the 7th minute. You've got a banner still in the South Stand. You're the only player ever to have a banner, just about him. So some fantastic things through this came about because not only our fans, but when we clapped, the opposition fans clapped as well. And sometimes you'd have 50,000, 60,000 Manchester United fans clapping on the 7th minute because our fans were doing it. They knew what it was about. They knew it was because of David Brooks. That must have been very heartwarming for any person.
Yeah, I think at this point that I'm at now, I appreciate it probably a little bit more. Even going through it, I wouldn't even say it was hardest, say, on me. I think obviously you touched on it there. I think it was probably harder for my wife, Flora, obviously, to kind of see us like that. For my family to be in the crowd and kind of experience that was probably better for them. And then obviously it is really nice for me to kind of look back on it and kind of see this, even though I do look pretty awkward there. It's just like an awkward time.
I know, but you're a reserved character. That's you're not overly outgoing, as in like you're not the type of person who's going to come into training and start shouting. And you're very calm. You're very reserved. You speak well.
Yeah, obviously I was having a good time here with the lads because they'd obviously had a really tough season and kind of got the job done that I wish I was a part of.
And are you thinking now, like, okay, I'm in remission, I've got to get myself back. We are in the Premier League. my focus, get back fit, get back involved, and just be a Premier League player once again?
It was never a case of I thought I was going to do anything different than try and play in the Premier League again.
Was that your main focus? Was that your drive?
Yeah, because I know physically, obviously, things would have changed, but I'd like to think at that point that I still got me touched. You know what I mean? So it was. It was never a case of I might not have the quality when I get back or this. It was more physically, am I going to be able to do it?
You've got your two big mates, Meps and Kiefer, who are not here now. Do you miss them?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, Chiefs left for a while now, so yeah, I get to see them when I go away to Wales and stuff like that. They were obviously fantastic with us when I was trying to get back and stuff like that. So.
And who's your big buddies now? Who's replaced them? Tavs, people like that?
No, yeah,
I'm always with them having a bit of banter.
No, me, Tav, Ryan Christie. I'm not going to mention that Scott because he just did an interview and didn't mention me for some reason. But,
I love that.
We've got a very good group here that we do stuff in and out of football. So it's it's been nice.
And this was obviously your Premier League return away at Aston Villa.
I think you can tell that by my face there. I was quite focused on coming on and doing something.
Well, you said you didn't even hear the fans singing, and the whole of Villa Park was singing. So you've got 40,000 or plus all singing your name. And I remember it gave me goosebumps at the time. But yeah, you're so solely focused on playing.
Yeah. I think obviously you can kind of tell by my face and the way I was moving and stuff like that. I just wanted to try and get back to obviously what I love to do.
So we move on a little bit, Brooksy, and obviously we got our first ever overseas manager, that's not been at least British, in Andoni Iraola. Tough season in the first season of Andoni's reign?
Well, again, I think it obviously leads to coming back from obviously the illness. I think I didn't really look at the numbers at that point, but I'm not sure if I was physically capable of doing what the other lads were capable of doing, and I felt like I wanted an opportunity. And
we see a picture of you up here now, Southampton. You went there in the January on loan.
Obviously, I know Cherries have got a dislike towards Southampton and stuff like that, but I can't really speak too badly on them because they obviously give me the opportunity just as a football club, and I was really thankful to Southampton and Russell Martin for giving me that opportunity, obviously, because I do feel like it was probably a little bit of a gamble on their part. Obviously, they're going for promotion. It's going to cost them tens of millions of pounds if obviously they don't go up. Like, just to kind of feel wanted at that point. And
well, you're 26 years of age. You need to start playing again, don't you? You accumulated in you getting to the playoff final. I know you got injured in the final, but you won the final against Leeds, wasn't it? And you're back up in the Premier League.
Yeah, that was obviously one of the best days I've had in football, kind of that opportunity. And you don't know if you're going to play again, and then you get to play in front of 80,000 at Wembley. And then obviously I know mine was cut short a little bit, but just the day in general was obviously fantastic. And with that shoulder surgery that I had to have after that was, I think that kept me out for like 3 or 4 months. So the best opportunities I felt at the time were probably going to lie at Bournemouth again. And it has always been Bournemouth. I wanted to play for Bournemouth in an ideal world. And I felt like the opportunities were creeping up to a point where I could be sort of happy with them. Obviously, I know I want to start. There was a lot of wingers that are trying to get minutes, and a lot of people obviously that aren't happy being sat on the bench. So, listen, I get it from a manager. It's obviously it's a tough one.
Do you think this was the change for you, that goal?
Howson, long ball forward, flicked on by Semenyo. Left side of the box to Kirkes. First time cross from Kirkes to the back post. David Brooks on the volley!
They say goals change games. Sometimes goals can change careers.
Yeah, I felt like that goal proved that I did have a little bit of quality.
I think you were coming back to your best then, and like I said, this is some finish.
Yeah, because I feel like
goal of the month.
I think that was around the time where I did get like 7 or 8 starts, and we went on that really good run in January time. I think it was one of the best runs we'd had all season.
It's funny that, isn't it? Sometimes against all the odds when centre midfielders playing centre back, full back.
Well, I think it was me and Lou Cook down the right hand side for the majority of it, and we were playing well, and kind of everyone was flying with confidence, even though we didn't have a lot of like first team players available. And yeah, I felt like just that time was kind of just proved that I could do it in the Premier League again. It was just whether I was kind of going to get that opportunity.
Well, I think you kicked on unbelievable, and then you get starts. Obviously, you supplied the goal against Liverpool for Antoine.
Running themselves. This is Brooks. First time delivery for Semenyo. 2-1 at Anfield.
And this season, I would say 99.9% of everyone involved with this football club would say Brooksy is back at his best. It's been a hell of a journey to get there.
Yeah.
Do you feel so? I mean, you've even had the honour of walking out as captain. I mean, that must be fantastic.
Yeah, obviously it is a really nice touch. I think obviously, like I've been here 8 years now, so this start of this season's obviously been the best in the club's history, and I feel like I've been quite a big part.
Well, you've been a massive part, and there's one question I want to ask you. Do you think you've added anything to your game to be an Andoni, Iraola type wide player?
I'd say obviously he loves the directness of his wingers and his kind of forward players, whereas previously, like you say, I like to find pockets and kind of create probably from a little bit deeper.
What about the other side of it?
Yeah, I felt like I was always fairly decent at defensive work and things like that, but just positional wise and where you kind of find yourselves in games has been a little bit different. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
One thing away from football, fatherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite there yet.
No,
how are you feeling?
3.5 weeks off, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's a different part of life that I kind of wanted to do probably a couple of years ago even, in fact, but it's kind of one of them that circumstances takes that out of your hand, and then obviously when those circumstances come up, I didn't know if I was going to be able to and things like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it and I'm very happy.
So Brooksy, I want to wrap this up, and I just want to say from the players, the staff, everyone at AFC Bournemouth, all the fans, how proud we are to have David Brooks at our football club. Your journey is not only inspiring, it's heartwarming and heartbreaking, but it's great to see you back at your very best, and we want to thank you, and we hope you see out your contract, and hopefully there'll be many more years here at AFC Bournemouth. Wish you all the best for myself, and like I say, everybody loves you at this club, and I think that's a testament to yourself and what you've been through and the character you are.
No, I appreciate that, thank you, and yeah, I love everyone involved with Bournemouth, so hopefully we can create some more memories in the next 4 years.
It's brilliant, Sam. Top man.
Thank you.